I teach English as a second language at a high school in a country where almost nobody speaks it outside my classroom. Every morning I walk up with my earbuds in, mentally getting ready for the day. I have ADHD. My memory is not great. I survive because I write everything down. I keep a notebook for every class where I log what actually happened, because there is always the lesson plan, and then there is reality. Right now, grades are almost due for the term. The rule at my school is simple. Every student needs at least 3 grades before the term closes. That sounds easy until you remember I teach 8 classes, over 200 students. Some of those classes have 36 kids crammed into a 55-minute period, and half of them show up without a pencil, never mind a pen. Some classes I barely teach. I police them. I break up side conversations, catch kids copying off each other, ask the same 3 students to put their phones away every single day. Those are the classes where my grade count falls behind, because there is only so much time in 55 minutes. So that morning, I was walking up the front steps, earbuds in, coffee already wearing off, when one of my students stepped right into my path. "Madam, how can you give us a quiz with such little notice? It's not fair. No hello, no, do you have a second?" Just straight into it, like he had been rehearsing the line the whole walk to school. I genuinely had no idea what he was talking about. I told him, calmly, that giving a short quiz with little notice is completely within my rights as a teacher, especially for classes that do not use their class time well. "As long as you studied," I said, "you will be fine." He huffed and walked off toward his first class. I stood there a second, actually rattled. What quiz? The second I got to my desk, I pulled out the notebook for his class and flipped back a few pages. There it was, in my own handwriting from 4 days earlier. Quiz next class, 10 vocabulary words. I had completely forgotten. Not a little, completely. If he had not stormed up to me like that, I might have walked into that classroom with no idea a quiz was even happening. So, he was right, technically. There was a quiz, and I had in fact forgotten I announced it. That did not change how he came at me though. He did not ask if I remembered. He did not ask if something had changed. He walked up to a teacher before 8 in the morning and started a fight over something that turned out to be entirely his class's fault for not listening in the first place. Since I had said it out loud, once, 4 days earlier, to a room of kids who were mostly on their phones, I decided I was not going to punish him for being right. I do not grade attitude, I grade vocabulary. But I was not going to let it go either. Third period came around. 36 kids, half of them already whispering to each other, asking what the quiz was even on. I walked to the front of the room, held up the stack of papers, and waited for it to go quiet. "Everyone, thank Luca for reminding me we had this quiz today," I said. I had completely forgotten. I said it flat. No smile, no edge to it. Just a fact, delivered to a room of 36 teenagers who all turned to look at him at once. Luca's ears went red first, then his neck. He opened his mouth like he wanted to explain himself, and then closed it again, because there was nothing to say. He was the one who made a scene in front of me that morning, and now the whole class knew it, and knew exactly why. Someone 2 rows back muttered, "Wait, you actually forgot?" and started laughing, and it spread the way it does at that age, until half the class was grinning. Luca sank down in his seat and stared at his desk for the rest of the quiz. 10 words. He got maybe 8 of them right. I do not remember exactly. What I remember is that he did not say a single word for the rest of the period, which for him was new, because normally he had something to say about everything. After class, he waited until everyone else filed out and came up to my desk. "You didn't have to say my name," he said, quieter than he had been that morning. "You didn't have to accost me on the front steps either," I said. "Next time, ask me a question instead of starting with a speech." He looked at the floor for a second, then nodded and left without another word. For the rest of the term, every time I mentioned a quiz, even with plenty of notice, Luca pulled out his phone right there in his seat and typed it into his reminders. He never raised his voice at me about fairness again, not once, not for the rest of the year. A few weeks later, I overheard him telling a friend in the hallway to write down the homework because, and I quote, "Trust me, you do not want Madam to make an example out of you." I did not correct him. I just kept walking, earbuds in, already thinking about my next class.